Boom. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Mortgage Coach Friday Mastermind. Every Friday, 9 o'clock, we have amazing people that we mastermind on hot topics. So today we have Deborah Byrd co-hosting today's call with me, AKA Wonder Woman. What's up, Deborah?
What's up? Just being my own hero today.
Love that. Hey, we got to be our own hero every day.
Yep.
We've got the one and only man on the moon astronaut, Jeremy Forcier.
What's up, Dave? Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to have that helmet all day long, because every time I look at you, I just laugh. But no I love problem. Starting off this way. So Dan, it's you and me, man. We didn't get costumes on. Are you feeling like we kind of dropped the ball here, bro?
I mean, I got to work today. I don't know what these clowns do for a living, but
have fun, bro. I mean, I am going to wear a costume for our all company lunch party, but yeah, in hindsight, I wish I would have put one on for this. But,
I know. I feel a little underdressed.
You know what? Hey, listen, I just gotta jump in. I gotta jump in here right off the gate. Okay, guys, like, listen, that comment. Okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do today. I gotta work. Okay, here's all I'm saying. If you can't go see realtors, you want a realtor script? Let's just start right there. You go around dressed up as an astronaut and you go pop into real estate offices, letting everyone know you want to take their business to the moon. Okay, you make it super simple. One of the best, most effective realtor pop-in that I've ever done is I dressed up 2 years ago like a full chicken costume. And I bought 100 Chick-fil-A sandwiches and I went around and handed out Chick-fil-A sandwiches to realtors. I know it sounds dumb, you guys. I know it sounds silly and stupid, but it just takes all the seriousness out of the relationship sometimes. I was able to get, I don't even remember anymore, but it was more than 10 appointments, literally, with real estate agents by going into offices dressed like a fool. So if you learn anything today, it's be a fool on Halloween, make fun of yourself, and go get some realtors.
Hey, Jeremy, real quick on that. So when Denise was first coming up with the Mortgage Nerd, her CEO was like, please don't do the Mortgage Nerd. It's gimmicky. Anything that's good for you, you don't need a gimmick. Yep. So what are your thoughts on that? Because some people are going to be watching this and be like, what the hell are these clowns? I don't want that to be a representation of my business where they're, can they take it seriously? So what would you say to that?
I'd say they're wrong. Like, just straight up. I mean, the reality is that you have multiple sides of yourself, your personality, your life. So it's a gimmick when it's not you. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's a gimmick when it's not you. When it's you, it's not a gimmick, right? It's literally a piece of you. It's fun. So I would just say, have fun with it. Don't worry about what other people think. Dress up, don't dress up, but have a great time. It's Halloween, for God's sake.
Right on. Well, I know I will be dressed up in a little bit here. So anybody tuning in, we have two big topics. I'm hearing more and more from our community that they're getting rate shot more. Even some of the best loan officers in the country are getting rate shot more. And then there are some loan officers that aren't, the way they're delivering advice and value to families, regardless of market circumstance, regardless of interest rates, they aren't. And so we've got a few of those on stage today. Also, it's never been more important to have meetings with realtors and get referrals from realtors. We are in, a pure purchase market, and we need to make sure we're getting after it with agents. So we may have Amber Kovarik join us at some point, and if she does, I'll bring her in. But let's get started. And since you already shared one realtor strategy, Jeremy, let's go to Dan Keller. And Dan, do you want to share a real estate, how to get meeting with agents strategy, or do you want to share a rate shopper strategy first?
We can talk about one or the other. I think this is my commentary that I would add to all of this stuff, like Deborah's question to Jeremy. So I agree with Jeremy. Jeremy's been telling me for 3 years, dude, you need to loosen up and have more fun. Okay, I agree. But me dressing up and going to offices is just not my thing. Like my wife owns my wife is an influencer, hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. She'll do Disney days and she'll have an event at the bake shop. Once a year, I'll dress up like Captain Hook or the Cookie Monster, or I'll do something like that for Jenny. but it's the most uncomfortable thing. It's just not me. And so I'm not going around to real estate offices today dressed up, but that's just me. What I did do yesterday is I hosted a clock hour class for real estate agents. I rented out the Everett.
Hey, Dan,
Yeah.
I am sorry, but we only have Amber for another 10 minutes. So I'm going to put you on pause, brother. And what's up? We got another costume in the room.
Sorry, coming in hot. I told Dave I'd love to jump on, but I am going around to real estate offices, dropping off gifts, and then we have our chili cook-off with realtors coming at 11:30. So I was like, I got a tight window to jump on and then go do some drop-offs. So yeah, I was like, great, I get to come on as Cruella today. My team are Dalmatians, so do a little group thing. What do you want me to talk about first, Dave? You want me to jump into?
Well, let's do this, because when we did Scriptapalooza, you did a rate lock script that was awesome. And for anyone that wants to hear one of the all-time best rate lock scripts, it's in the micro content. So we actually edited it. You can just listen to that. I think it was like 5 to 7 minute rate lock script. But we're hearing more and more rate shopping in the marketplace. Maybe you're getting rate shop more, maybe you're not. But why don't you share, what you're doing proactively that might reduce rate shopping, and what are you doing reactively when you do get rate shopped? So just cover that at a high level.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, rate shopping. So what I think about rate shopping is that to eliminate or limit it, it really starts in the beginning of the process. So we're really like from the time we have that application, just like focused on adding massive value and keeping them super duper sticky to us. And so when we get the application and once we have their supporting documents, we are setting up a consultation. We do them all over Zoom now. And we spend 30 minutes with the client, and it's really all around mortgage coach. So we're building up our TCAs, and we're just talking strategy with them. We're calling it a strategy session, and whether it's their first house or their 10th house, we have them jump on this time with us because it's our opportunity to share with them like why we're different, to add that value. I always try to throw something in there that makes them think like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think of that option, or I didn't know that was possible. I really need Amber in my life. She's smarter than I am. Because so many clients think they know what they want. They come and they tell you, I want 20% down. I'm selling my house. I want to put all the proceeds, whatever it is. So we're like challenger sale, like just trying to show them our value. And that consultation is huge. So during that, we obviously like have the interest rate on the TCA, but I go from, sales price to loan amount to payment. And I don't talk a lot about rate. And then during the consultation, I'll mention like, hey, these payments were based off of this rate. This is just an average interest rate right now. We don't know what your rate is going to be when you go under contract because the market's going to move between now and then. And so once you're under contract is when we'll actually lock in and protect the rate. So we like to quote a rate that's, market, maybe even a little bit higher, just to make sure that we have the best chance of calling you with good news when you go under contract that rates are lower. Then hey, bad news, the market's moved and it's higher. And so we really focus on payment. So it's all about the monthly payment, little bit on the interest rate, talking about how when they go under contract, we can get them any interest rate that they want. And we're going to talk to them about the ladder of interest rates. And it's really like a teeter-totter, right? So the lower the interest rate, the higher the cost. The higher the rate, the lower the cost. And we're going to dig into that once we know the true numbers and you have that accepted contract to figure out what's the best rate for you in your financial situation with your personal goals. And so we just really don't make it a thing at consultation. And then we're, like I was saying, getting really sticky. So we're putting all of our clients in for a TBD underwrite approval prior to them being under contract. And we're telling them all the advantages in that consultation of working with us and why having a TBD underwrite is so important and why we're helping our clients win with it, why we're helping them feel so much more confident being a home buyer out there, knowing that they're through the hardest, scariest part of the process. Like we already have the underwriting stamp of approval. When you get that accepted contract, we're going to fly. And we are winning with those, and we're creating a cover letter that we send out to our buyer's agents once we have that TBD approval, so that they can add that into their offer. So the listing agents know we're not just automated underwriting approved, we're actual underwriting approved. We call them, we talk about it. And then I'm doing weekly videos out to our pre-approved clients that are shopping with, hey, what's going on with interest rates? Have they moved up or down? Are you shopping this weekend? Do you need updated payments? You know, we're here for you. So just trying to stay really connected to them during the shopping process. So again, just dropping like massive value so that they feel like, you know, we are well taken care of and we don't want to go look elsewhere. And then once they go under contract, then we're calling them, we do our contract call, and that's really like, you know, where the rubber meets the road. And it's like, okay, now we're going to lock in your interest rate. And again, this is nothing earth shattering or really new, but it's all about the payment. So it's like, okay, your sales price is this, we're going to do the 10% down on this house. The payment's going to be X. This is right in line with what your goals were, which we talked about in the consultation, talk through it all and say, okay, great. Now today the interest rate is at, you know, 3.25. That's what got us our payment that meets our goals. I can go ahead and secure that interest rate for you if you want to go ahead and protect it. And that's what this means. And then that's when I kind of go into that little rate script that I do. And so it's just kind of like we're part of the process. And we've connected to them so much from the beginning that we're not getting a lot of pushback. By the time that we've had all these conversations with them, it's kind of like, okay, yep, that sounds good. We don't want to risk the market. We want to lock in and protect it. And, you know, I've heard this a while ago, and I so believe it, that in the population of people, there's like 80% of the population that wants a competitive rate, a fair rate, but they really appreciate the relationship and the value that we provide. And then there's 5% of the population that like to pay the most for things because they have some like ego around it and it makes them feel cool. And then there's 15% of the population that always want the cheapest. They don't care about relationship. They don't care about value. They just want the cheapest, right? And if I identify a 15%er through conversations, then I just know I'm dealing with one of those, and I'm going to try to win them over, but they might not care about all the value that we're providing and, you know, our differentiators and what we share with them. And they may be the ones that go to Costco or, you know, wherever. But that means that I have 85% that are my kind of client that I can love on and take care of and add value to, that I can get locked in without a lot of rate shopping conversation.
Love it. Would you mind forwarding an example of one of your total cost analysis that you're using in the purchase process? Jeremy, anything you want to comment or say to what Amber just shared with us?
Great costume.
I was just going to say that to you. I love it. With your headphones on too, it just makes it even better.
Oh, no, I mean, I think that what she's saying is fundamentals. Fundamentals rarely lose when they're done over and over and over and over again. So, I mean, I've known shit, and Amber, excuse my language, y'all. Whoa. Jeff Bezos dropped. Sorry, guys. You know, fundamentals done over and over and over again. And I've known you for what, 12 years, I think now, something like, yeah, at least, right? And I've watched your fundamental game just get so good, and then you get really clear on what to focus on and what not to focus on, right? And I think that is literally 50% of the battle, is that what do I focus on versus what doesn't matter, and then only focus all my energy on the important items, right? Providing value, making sure they know what your value really is, and being able to articulate that. I think that what you do really well from an influence standpoint is to be able to be concise and clear with what your value is to customers. If something can be concise and clear, more people will listen than not, and they will understand, so they will follow the process. So no, absolutely killing it. Love it. Love to see your growth and success, and you're just scratching the surface. It's pretty awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's so awesome to be part of this incredible community that is adding so much value. So
Dan, anything you want to say or comment before we let Amber go?
No, I mean, that's it in a nutshell. That's basically what I was going to say as well.
So Amber, before you do, before you do jump, I know you got a bunch of tickets to the Modern Real Estate Summit. What are you, just give us 1 minute on what are you doing to get your realtors engaged and involved in all that?
Yeah, so yesterday my team and I split up our list of like any realtor has referred us a deal this year. And we called them all and just let them know that like, hey, we know we're going into a time of year where it can get easy to take your foot off the gas. And we have an opportunity to give you a little pump of motivation, inspiration, ideas, and we would love for you to be a part of it. We have purchased some tickets to the Modern Real Estate Summit next Wednesday, and we would love to offer you a ticket with one condition, that if we give you this ticket, that you promise to engage in the content, that you watch it, and that we can connect afterwards to figure out like what were your takeaways and what are you going to implement through the rest of this year to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success for 2022.
Boom. There's a script, guys. Well, Amber, thank you for jumping in, jumping out, and thanks for the value today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm sorry, I'm just popping in for a minute, coming in, cutting off Dan, stealing his thunder. Sorry, Dan, I owe you.
His thunder's still coming. All right.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have an awesome Halloween weekend.
Take care, Amber.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye. So we will come back to rate shopping best practices, but as Jeremy said, she shared a lot of really simple fundamentals. I'll outline those before this call is over, and we'll make sure that everyone knows what they are. But Dan, you were in the middle of sharing a strategy when I hit the pause button, and if you wouldn't mind picking it up.
Yeah. Just yesterday, I rented out the historic Everett Theater. There's about, I don't know, I think that's where like bands and movies used to get played way back in the early 1900s. It's a pretty cool thing. About 500 seats there. And we did a clock hour class for realtors. So I sponsored a clock hour class through a title company. And in sponsoring it, you get, 20 minutes at halftime to buy lunch and talk to them. And so instead of talking about mortgages, I think I texted you a picture of the Modern Mortgage Summit lineup behind me. And I just said, I got 2 treats for you today. I'm not going to talk about mortgages. The first treat, everyone gets Jenny cookies. My wife owns a local business, so enjoy some sugar and sweetness from me, and kind of got everyone giggling there. And then I said, the second treat is going to make you money. And there's a real estate, probably one of the top real estate conferences coming up next week, and I'm going to give you a ticket to that. And so what I did in addition to that is I rented out that same theater next Wednesday, and I'm hoping to pack it with a bunch of real estate agents. We're going to live stream it I'm not going to do the whole day because I think, we'd have real estate agents coming and going. I think that's overkill, but I am going to live stream it from 8 until noon, and I'm going to buy them lunch, and then they're going to leave with a ticket and they can go back and rewatch the summit. So that's kind of what I did. I'm not going around today to real estate offices. Jeremy just texted me. He was like, dude, next year he texted me a picture. Is it Skiffler, Jeremy? Is that Skiffler? It's been so long.
The Stifler, baby.
Stifler. Yeah, with the mullet and the mustache.
You could totally pull off Stifler,
I'm Stifler
with a mullet wig.
There you go. All right. That's what I'll loosen up by next year, and I'll do that. I'll commit to you guys next year. I'll do that. But today I got a few meetings, so awesome. I did my work yesterday.
Excellent.
Love it. So what would be anyone listening to this that just wants to, there's a whole program around that. And guys, I do recommend that you get tickets to the Modern Real Estate Summit and watch it with realtors. But, what's another idea or way to drive a meeting with an agent? And then we'll come to you, Jeremy.
Oh, did you ask me, Dave?
Yeah, we'll come back to Jeremy in a minute. But
Yeah.
let's just give us a minute, like another idea or strategy to get.
Just another one that I use every Friday. I do coffee with Keller, and we do it prior to COVID. We did it here in our office, and we'd have 15 to 30 realtors show up every Friday for coffee. And I mean, I'm in the core, so I would I'd log into one of the core real estate agents and find one of their strategies or one of their most recent talks. And I would teach that, or I would teach a best practice that I'm using right now to, communicate with my database or to add value to my clients. And so that's probably COVID, probably the biggest curveball that COVID threw at me was those in person every single week. And then I would say your price for admission to these is to bring a guest. I want you to share this with another real estate agent that you know. And so that's how I would meet new real estate agents. They'd partner up, and I'd meet new real estate agents every week.
So, the thing I love about that is just consistent, regular. How many years have you been doing that?
Oh, I started coffee with Keller back in like 2013. It was really neat, but in office meetings, probably about 4 years.
Yeah. So same strategy still works today. Just everybody listening to this, those are the best ideas. And I'm sure Jeremy's got his coffee with Jeremy, and I've actually interviewed him multiple times around that. I think I've even had you and the two of you on the call, but sometimes it's not the new hot idea, but it's just the basics. So
Hey,
Jeremy,
Dave,
go for it.
real quick, Dan, I'm curious if you, especially with COVID, or if you've ever thought of having like a private Facebook group very similar to what, Dave does here with the mortgage coach community. Have you done something like that, whether it's with your, coffee with Dan, or just having a group that you pour into?
Good question. Great prompt. No, I haven't in the past, but I just in the last 2 weeks, with this whole wealthy homeowner program that I've launched, I've created 3 private groups. So the wealthy homeowner real estate agent, the wealthy homeowner loan officer, and the wealthy homeowner Dan Keller VIP clients. So yes, but I know I've missed out in the past, because I think I remember hearing you and the nerd talking about her private group at the Nerd Club or something like that. And that inspired me to do it. I just never did it.
Yeah, there's 2 different groups that she'll run. One is just the, nerd alumni, which is for her past clients, and, teaching principles over time, and also just trying to really build that tribe and community where they feel like, they're a part of something bigger than just the loan, but it's a tribe that she's building. That's her past clients. And then she has one just for her real estate agents. And there's not a whole lot in that group. She does kick people out. So there's some rules involved to have that kind of access and exclusivity there. But I just thought of that with your coffee with Keller, that could be another option for you. Just like Dave. Dave is always my model child when I talk to clients about how to execute a group and really add value when that's the motive. And look at what this community has done just here, and it's nationwide. I mean, imagine if that's just your town.
Great idea. So let's do this, guys. We're 22 minutes into this. We've got another 38. Let's really focus on Jeremy and Dan and trying to go back and forth on rate shopping strategies. Jeremy, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with rate shopping?
I want to start at 922. Cut to the house and said, "Baby, I love you. Can't act like a Mac like Playboy short." Come on, you guys know who that is. No,
I don't.
It's too short. Anyway, so let's talk about rate shopping first. Okay. So here's the thing with rate shopping. Everyone's talking about rate shopping is up. Rate shopping is up. Guess what? It's not. Literally, it's not. And stop saying it. Because the more you say it, the more you believe it, and the more you'll find it. Rate shopping is not up, and I really, really do mean this. What is up is interest rates, you guys. There is a big difference between interest rates moving up and true fundamental rate shopping happening at a higher percentage level. I've been in the business for, I don't even remember now, but 15 years, 17 years, something like that, right? Every single time we have any type of movement in interest rates up, and I'll define that as 0.3%. Okay, 0.3% in interest rate. You feel like you're getting shopped more. There's a big difference between feeling like you're getting shopped more, because people have been used to 2.75, and that's what they hear and that's what they see. And I mean, I literally had someone, you guys asked me yesterday, like, is the 1.15% still available, right? So just think about that for a second. Now, were they shopping me? No, they literally were out of their mind. They just didn't know, right? Because they saw an ad somewhere for something. So I think the first step in really trying to figure out, is rate shopping happening on a higher level, is to take a step back and look at the market fundamentals. Right? Whenever interest rates start to drift up a little bit, defined once again as 0.3%, okay, or up in rate, you're going to feel like you're being shopped on every single conversation, because you talked to someone a month ago, they didn't go into contract, and now you're telling them a rate is 0.5% higher, or 0.25% higher, or 0.3% higher. That can lead to distrust sometimes falsely, but it can lead to distrust with a client, right? So then we feel like we're being shopped when really what we did is we didn't educate correctly and appropriately, which is why I love utilizing video with the total cost analysis, right? So I think that rate shopping is the same right now, personally. And I think that we need to get out of the mindset that we're being shopped more and more, and just understand that it is going to be more time, more energy for the record. It's going to be more work whenever interest rates go up, because you have to re-educate everyone. You have to re-engage everyone, reset expectations, reset maybe where they're pre-approved if they were max pre-approved. And if you can get out in front of that, the conversations are going to be way, way, way easier. Okay, so that's number one for me as far as rate shopping goes. I don't think percentage wise it's happening any more to me than it does any other time, right? So you have to get in front of it, use a total cost analysis to show people what is going on. Now, another tool that I use that is very good is, Rate Watch. Okay, is that you can actually go in and make videos, right, and show people how rates are moving, how they have moved. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Borrower, did you actually know that rates have been moving up since September 10th? Let me show you, right? Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner. By the way, if you guys all want a really great tip, I shared this on my quote unquote coffee talk, which I totally did steal from Dan. I've asked Dan if I could steal 2 things of his, and I totally have: the market making sense and the coffee talks. Okay. And they're both awesome. So on the last coffee talk I had, which I have with loan officers, okay, not realtors, I do it with loan officers. I explained to them that if you want to engage with people and show them where the market is moving, and if you're getting really shopped, send them to FreddieMac.com historical rates. Okay, Freddie Mac posts every single week on their website what the average interest rate is in America and how much it costs in points. Okay, so if you're getting super, super shopped and you're feeling like you need some credibility that's not you, because remember, use a third party. Hey, this is Freddie Mac. Just so you know, Freddie Mac is who publishes the interest rates to all of us on conforming loans. Whether you work at broker B shop, this shop, or a big bank, this is how it works and how they move. You can send them one link and they can go historically, and it shows week by week how they moved up and down and what the cost is. Okay, so I do that a lot. I use that when people actually are really like rate shopping me. Use a third party source, right? Use someone to build credibility and education. Like, hey, this is where I get it from. Why don't you just go take it a look for yourself so you can have a better understanding about it, right? So I think rate shopping, to sum it up, number one, get educated. Rates are up. You are not getting rate shop more. You have to re-educate people. Number two, use tools and resources that are going to allow you to educate people correctly. Total cost analysis with video, Rate Watch, as well as sending third-party information where people can look it up, where the experts, that's not you telling them, right? Because remember, if you're in a debate with someone, the person on the other side wants to be right. Take yourself out and say, hey, well, I'm not right, but Freddie Mac is. Go check this out. It will really, really, really help reduce either your rate shopping, or will open up better conversations where you can have more influence over people.
So Jeremy, I mean, one of the things that you take for granted, because you use a total cost analysis with every borrower,
yeah,
and you're always showing them options.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hearing, I did an interview with Gina Myers.
Mm-hmm.
I think you
I love Gina. She is so cool.
So by the way, she called you out when I asked her, why do you use Mortgage Coach? And she just raved about you. By the way, when I say called you out, I didn't mean negative.
Oh, I know. I was like, well, what'd she say?
No, she had just amazing things. And by the way, she beat you last month at cross country. Her and her team did 103 TCAs, and she edged you out of the.
I'm happy for her. That's great.
Yeah. Well, thanks for getting her on the team. But
yeah,
the whole conversation was, how is she winning with rate shoppers? And one of her strategies, she said, I learned it from Jeremy, is I'm always showing them rate options, and I'm showing them one with like a 1.5 buy down, and one that might be no points. So would you mind describing that strategy? And then also, do you also do the, call it the lowest rate at a 1.5, or do you sometimes show a 2-point option?
Sure. Great question. So yes is the answer. I always show multiple options, right? And I want to give context to this. And I know that this is a classic Jeremy statement. Context is important and context is everything, right? So there's two different stages of, well, there's really three different stages, but two primary stages of total cost analysis, right? And if we're talking about a purchase, there's one at pre-approval or pre-qual, right? Pre-approval or pre-qual. And then there's another one when they get into contract, right? And I execute two different strategies, right, for those two different stages. The first stage at pre-qual or pre-approval, I am showing them, let's say they want to get approved to a $500,000 purchase price with 10% down, right? I am showing them three different options, all at 0 points, but with 1/4 to 0.5% up and down as to where the market is. I'll give you an example. Let's just say that the market's 3% today at no points. I'm just making it up. I know I don't need you guys all calculating things and sending me messages where I know I actually think it's 0.9 today. It's all good. I'm just using this to be very, very simple. So in the first column option on a total cost analysis, I'll show them 500,000, 10% down at 2.75% interest rate, no points. In the second column, I'll show them 3% interest rate, no points. In the third column, I'll show them 3.25% interest rate, no points, right? And then in the video, I'm educating them on, hey, what I did here is created a presentation for you, Dave. I'm gonna walk you through 3 different scenarios. And the reason why there's 3 different scenarios here is that I wanna show you how the movement of interest rates up or down affects your monthly payment. Because you don't lock in interest rates in advance and we don't know when you're gonna purchase, I'd rather show you if rates move down 1/4% or if rates moved up 1/4% from where we're at, that you know what your monthly payments are going to be. And it will also educate you on wherever the rates move, how you can calculate what that monthly payment will be, worst case scenario. And then I walk them through those different options. I think that that is a critical first step. And I started doing that about 2 years ago. Okay. I didn't used to do it that way. I used to just quote all options at pre-approval, and then I would do it again in contract. What I found is that using that time in that first total cost analysis when they're not in contract to educate them on how do rates move, and then show them that 1/4% movement up or down or 0.5% up and down isn't a deal breaker for them, relaxes people and they appreciate it, right? It relaxes people and they appreciate it. They usually ask better questions as well. Okay, if you take that tack, well, where are rates at today? What do you, or this is a common question I get. Thank you so much. Where do you think rates are going? All of a sudden they're asking, engaging me in a question based on expertise and what my opinion is, rather than, oh, it looks like this one cost, 0.8 higher than what I saw on bankrate.com or whatever it may be. So that's step one. Now, step two is once they do get into contract, just like Gina, that I taught Gina as well, I am always showing 3 options, and I'm showing 3 options that make sense. So this is where art and science come into play, right? Like you said, do you show a 2-point option? Do you show I mean, it just depends because it's a nonlinear function on pricing, right? On a day-to-day basis. So typically though, yes, I will show like 3.25%, right? At no points, 2.99 at 1.34, points, and then 2.5 at like 3 points, right? Something like that. I will definitely show a wide range of different costs. And I usually show one option, by the way, that makes no financial sense in my opinion. Makes no financial sense in my opinion. And I will walk them through that, and I will point out that, hey, if it was me, just so you know, I wouldn't do this one, but we can do whatever you want. It's classic Jeremy script that I use on almost all my videos. Hey, you have these different options. On this third one, I personally wouldn't do it, but we can do whatever you'd like. It's totally up to you. So I'm going to send you loan disclosures based on column number 1, but we can make any changes that we want throughout the process. So let me know what your questions and feedback are, and I'm more than happy to hop on the phone and go through it with you. I want to give them the option to choose, and I want to give them the option to ask me, why doesn't that one make sense if they can't see why it doesn't make sense, right? So I think lots of people use technology to try to do their job for them. I try to use TCA and technology to get people to ask me the right questions. And I think it's really, really, really important to utilize total cost analysis for that purpose, because if people are asking you the right questions, you're going to give the right answers and you're going to win more loans.
Guys, that was a a lesson right there, everything Jeremy said, and how to deliver an amazing borrower experience that, yes, it will help you win with rate shoppers. More importantly than that, it'll help you have a better conversion because you're more valuable to the consumer. You're providing more education. And I don't know if I had heard you say that before, where you'll strategically show an option that may not be the best one. A lot of loan officers
Totally.
show that to the consumer. They'd filter that out, and you're missing an educational opportunity. And you never know what context some other loan officer comes in, especially when it comes to high points. So, and it sounds like you do go higher. By the way, do you have any TCAs? I don't want you to show it yet, but if you do have one.
Oh, I have so many lined up here. I was like, do you want me to show one right now? I can give a great example.
Well, I do want you to show one.
Okay.
I want to give Dan a chance to see if he has a question for you, but I do want you to show a TCA at some point in this lesson. Dan?
Yeah. Yep.
Questions or comments?
So yeah, I got a question for Jeremy. So this is great. Right out the gate, you meet a client and you give them that presentation. And so when their response, for example, because I'm sure a bunch of listeners are feeling the same way. If their response is, okay, cool. So is your rate 3? How do you respond to that? Or do you get that question ever?
That I don't think in memory that no one's responded that way.
Okay.
Honestly.
Cool.
So now I'm not saying I don't get shopped, you guys, and I'm not saying I win every loan. What I'm saying is that when you present things that way, they're going to ask you better questions, even if it is maybe even if the bottom line underlying question is that, Dan, like, what's your rate? They may ask me that, but in a very different way, right? And so it's more conducive to a conversation rather than just like, hey, so what's your rate? So first of all, there is no rate. Remember, I was talking about a pre-approved person, right? So pre-approved person. And I've already told them in the video that exactly what the purpose is of this, et cetera. So just so you can see how interest rates move up and down, right? And you can adjust. That conversation that what you just asked me does happen, obviously, when someone is in contract, right? Or it is a refinance, et cetera. And there are different scripts that I do use around that based on the situation. But at the end of the day, if someone just asked me, so what is that? Is that your rate? The answer is yes. And be confident in it. Like, yeah, actually, here's a great script I've used a bunch of times, right? And when I say a bunch of times, I do some things exactly the same way, a lot of things all the time. And then you have like a bag of tricks, right? Where you can just pull out stuff on the fly. So this is under the bag of tricks, right? Like kind of thing. I don't use it all the time, but if Dan, you came to me and you go, cool. So is that it? Is that your best deal? Right? Is that your rate? I'd be like, well, no, actually that's not my rate. That's your rate because it's based on your characteristics. So if you want to change something about it, I'm more than happy to. Would you be interested in putting more money down? Would you be interested? And then all of a sudden, that's how I try to flip it when someone is aggressive with me on like, cool. So is that it? Is that your best deal? Right. And we all have those people, right, that we talk to. I always try to flip it back and around and go, oh no, yeah, no, this is your deal. Right. This is based on your credit score, your down payment, what you qualify for, et cetera. Would you like me to look into maybe changing some of your characteristics, like on the loan, and then I can give you some different options, right? So I think that you have to think on your feet sometimes, or keep like this bag of tricks, so to speak, that you can pull out when you get someone who's going to throw you off what a normal process looks like.
Jeremy, I remember your unfiltered one where someone said, dang, that's kind of high, isn't it? Do you remember what you say to that?
I said, you're high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Are you high?
And then I just shut up and they say, excuse me. And I said, I was just kidding. Like you just have to.
Dan, will you please go live and do that script for us so we can all watch how that would go?
Oh, I mean, you just have to know your audience sometimes, right? And you also I'm going to go back to Amber, okay, who started this off. What I said about Amber is that she was focused on the right things and pouring her energy into that. I don't spend too much time focusing on someone who's going to hammer me, right? I'll give you a great example. Mr. Robatori yesterday, okay? I've done loans for him plenty of times in the past, and he's always very aggressive and weird, all right? And so guess how you have to deal with those people, guys? You have to be aggressive and weird, okay? So whenever he emails me, like yesterday, his email, it's 5:48 a.m. was, I'm so sick of this password thing. Like, it's just signing a disclosure. It's just too much. If you can't figure it out, like, I don't know if I want to move forward with the loan. So my response was, awesome, no problem. would you like me to cancel your loan? I'd be more than happy to if you can't figure out how to type in the password that you created. And he
Or
said,
you could say, you could pay cash.
yeah.
You don't need a
And
loan.
you know what he did? He said, oh, I'll figure it out. Great. Now I could have gone down a rabbit hole in that, right? In the past, when I was a beginning loan officer, I would get that and I'd panic. I'm going to lose something. This is right. And that's normal. By the way, if you feel that way, it's not like I haven't felt that way, right? Like, yeah, you're like, I don't want to lose a deal. Oh, I got to bend over backwards. No, man. Like, you're being a jerk, like straight up certified jerk. And so my favorite certified jerk response always is, I completely understand. If you would rather me cancel your loan, I'd be happy to do that. Just let me know what you'd like to do. That's it. And it works a lot. Okay, so use that, put that in your bag of tricks, that when you're getting hammered on something that doesn't make any sense at all, and I'm not saying don't serve the person. Of course, there's a second part to the email. I was like, hey, if you'd like us to reset your password, I'd be happy to do that as well, right? So we made it easy, right, for him to do business with us, but you have to take a firm stance on idiocy, all right? You can't just get hammered all the time for stuff that doesn't mean anything.
So let's share a quick TCA because I want to make sure people know Jeremy Forcier TCA. And then Dan, I'm going to come to you right after Jeremy does this. I'll leave it to you whether you want to do Dan, Keller, win with rate shoppers, or you want to do a realtor strategy.
Awesome. So why is mortgage coach down? It's just spinning. Let me see here. So let's go back and let's try this again. Yeah, mine's just spinning over here.
Yeah, I just pulled up a TCA on my side.
Weird. Let me log back in, log back out. So while I do that, okay, I'm gonna share why you need to include your realtor partners on all TCAs. So we're talking about I think getting realtor appointments right now is the easiest all time, by the way. Really do. I 100% do. Okay. So you need to include your realtor partners on every single one that you send them, whether it's pre-approval, in contract, whatever it may be. It's extremely, extremely, extremely important that you include them on that. Here is why. Let me give you a response. This is the number 10 realtor, number 10, that I don't work with, don't have an active relationship with, okay, who is using, my borrowers are using her to represent in a big purchase, right? $1.6 million purchase. So, and we've had good conversations, strategy on offers, etc. I included her on my total cost analysis. It just says, hey, Aaron and Gary, please see below mortgage options based on a $1.45 million purchase. Let me know if you have any questions. I look forward to serving you. Well, I included her on it, and this was her feedback. Jeremy, this is such great info. Thank you. I really love the video format, right? No one is doing it. People aren't doing it, you guys. And when you include them on it, you show your expertise. Now, what's interesting about this particular situation is that this would be the prime type of loan that I could 100% get rate shopped on and get hammered probably, right? It's a 20% down, extremely qualified jumbo purchase, and interest rates have gone up. So I got it to pull up finally. So I'm going to share it with you. All right, so this is the example. As you can see, I have my video in the bottom, and in the video, what I showed these individuals here, right, is that, hey, here's a 20% down option at 3.375%. Walk them through the numbers. Your cash to close is 316,228. Or here's a 3.625% option, right, with less out of pocket. Payment's going to be a little higher at $52.90 and 20 cents. Cash to close is 301,984. Now, in my opinion, Mr. Scott and Mrs. Lockhart, in your situation, I would do the 3.625%. I don't think it makes any sense to spend $15,000 more to save $161 a month, especially because I know you're going to be refinancing this property in the next 2 years once you sell your current home and pay the balance down. I wouldn't waste your money in the buy down now when you're going to be redoing this loan in the very near future. Okay, that was basically my script. The video's in here. I'm happy to share this link with you guys. I can put it in the chat so you can watch it and see exactly what I said, but that's the gist, right? Now, this is one of the prime examples of where I could get hammered and shopped, right? You can see right in here, that it's $14,000 in points at 3.375% on this particular product that they qualified for. What was very, very interesting, you guys, is that this was their response with the realtor on it. Remember, I included the realtor on this, right? Who already said, this is so great. And they said, Jeremy, we totally agree with you. Thank you so much. We will go with 3.625%. Okay. So you have to not be afraid, right? Just to educate. Now, these people have to use a certain investor, right? So if they came back to me with like, hey, so it looks like these rates are about 3/8 higher than what the market are, right? Like, why is that? I know how I can educate them on that, right? Hey, it's because of your restricted stock option income, right? And there's a specific, and you sold your company, now you're an employee of it. You have less than 6 months of vesting, this, that, and the other. There's all these technicalities, right? But I know that, and that could be a question that was asked to me, and I'm prepared to deliver that information. But if you just put out what makes sense and why, I didn't even have to go through that, even though I was prepared to have that conversation, because their response was, thank you, we'll take option 2, right? And I got a realtor appointment out of it, number 10 agent in our whole county, from simply including them on the video link so they could watch it as well. And that is where you're going to build credibility.
So another realtor strategy, guys, make sure, even if it's not your agent, especially if it's not your agent.
Especially if it's not your agent, man.
If it's not your agent, you're using the TCA to distinguish yourself as a professional, an advisor who's delivering more efficient communication. Dan, any questions or comments on that?
Yeah, I would just reiterate the biggest takeaway from what Jeremy said for loan officers is CC your realtors on these reports. Real estate agents don't see it. They don't see the video. Everyone's attracted to video right now. So when you're doing it at that level, it's just we laugh in our office when we get a new agent on a deal. We're like, watch this, and it doesn't work every time, but it's definitely, it gets their attention. So I think that's the biggest thing, that if you're a loan officer and you're newer or you're looking to build realtor business, loop in the realtor on that, and then follow up with them when they when that agent commented Jeremy didn't just say, hey, that's cool, yeah, thank you. That's a referable moment. That's an opportunity right now to go in and close a deal.
Yep.
So just pay attention to stuff like that. But great job, Jeremy.
100%, man. Yeah, I don't want you guys to miss what Dan just said, is that when someone gives you praise, don't be like the old Jeremy and go, man, I'm really good. Like, oh yeah, that felt great. And that was one of my downfalls the first, half of my career, right? And as I wanted to be liked so much, like I was more doing things just to be liked than I was to be effective. So once I got over that of like, listen, man, get your ego out of this. This is stupid. Like, you don't need to be doing things to be liked. You're missing softballs being thrown your way every single second. Someone says you did a great job. Hey, that's awesome. How can we do more? Become a shark, right? You have to become a shark. Like, you take your opportunities, take your shots every single time, over and over and over again, and you will get more appointments with realtors. So keep in mind, I'm tying these two things together right now. I want to make sure you guys are following this. I used a rate shopping moment that could have been the easiest one for me to get rate shopped, presented options, educated, included a realtor on it, okay? Because this is something I get a lot. I was talking to my buddy Bruce last week, and he was like, dude, you do mortgage coach all the time. Like, aren't you scared of like them taking that and rate shopping you? That's literally what he said. So I know a lot of you watching this might be thinking that as well. Dude, aren't they going to take that and go rate shop you? Dude, no. And if they do, fine. They're one of the 30% of people that are going to do that, right? But I took that vulnerable moment, realtor I didn't know, borrowers that could easily be the easiest shoppers ever, and I put them all together, and I got deal, no concession, by the way, no concession, by the way, no concession, by the way, no concession, by the way. You guys need to hear that, because you can't concession your way out of this market. Okay. You need to stop doing it. Stop leading with a concession. All right. And I got a realtor appointment with a top 10 realtor in my county. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there and tell people the truth. The truth will win.
Jeremy, I know you and I went over these metrics when we did the TCA Day Challenge a month ago, but just remind folks, and anyone who doesn't know who Jeremy is, has a lot of loans and he leads a very big region, helps manage over 50 loan officers. Share some of the metrics in terms of conversion, your profitability and price exceptions versus others. I just want people to realize, like, these aren't just good ideas. This is scientifically proven. What Jeremy's talking about, you do these things, you will reduce your rate shopping and you will win with realtors. Like, kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, absolutely. It's true. So I attribute my minimization of concessions, because I'm not going to say I don't get them. Of course, man, concessions are going to happen, right? You just have to know when to use them. And I reserve to use concessions for 3 different scenarios. One is I completely mess something up and there's nothing I can do about it. I quoted it out wrong. I just jacked it, right? Like, whatever it is, right? That happens rarely. Number 2 is going to be, you have a competitive situation up front. They're like, hey, I'd rather go with you, but this is really what's most important to me. Cool. If I can make that happen, I'm going to make that happen. Know the need, fulfill the need, right? And then number 3 is going to be any type of situation where I have to extend, I need to do something to make a deal work. So like, someone doesn't have the extra $1,400 to come in, right? And we need an extension for $1,400. Like, those are the only 3 times that we should really be looking at concessions. I attribute my minimization of concessions 100% to Mortgage Coach. 100, 100%. Because it's my delivery mechanism and presentation tool where you can educate, build trust, etc. So comparing myself to my peer group, right, that I manage and that I have access to seeing, like, what average concession is. My average concession, okay, year to date was literally 100% less than my peer group. 100% less than my peer group. Now, when I did the TCA a day challenge with a bunch of loan officers, right, within my organization, what was so cool is to see their average concession literally go down by somewhere 80%, somewhere 31%, somewhere 62%. But by them using the TCA every single day, their average concession went down tremendously. Right? We had one individual that was averaging 51 basis points average concession. 51, that's a lot, okay? Average concession. That means average on all deals. When we were done with the TCA day, that same exact individual was only averaging 21 basis points concession, right? So it makes a huge difference, not only in profitability, but the ability to give concessions when you have to and not hammer your profitability from a company level, branch level, etc. So the last thing that anyone wants to do is lower their comp, right? And what ends up happening is that loan officers, all of you, me included out there, if you try to concession your way out of any transition in any market or go to lowest price to win every single time, you 100% are going to have to change your LO comp at some point. You're just going to have to. So you have to know that and decide that, not blame it on your company, not try to go to a different company because you think, oh, this is ridiculous, I got to change my comp. You have to have some self-accountability in what you're doing and knowing what those consequences unintended are going to be for your comp.
So Jeremy, I think you gave us great class. You provided some evidence of, value. Dan, we got 8 more minutes. Do you want to do a rate shop strategy or do you want to do a realtor strategy as we go into wrapping up today's call?
I'm going to do a recap because I don't have enough time. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say that real quickly, this call is so important to every loan officer right now, from not only from a rate shopping standpoint, but from a mindset standpoint. I think Jeremy just crushed it. We're not in a higher interest rate market, margins compression, whatever people are going to say right now. If you can get it through your head that you're not, are you really getting rate shopped, or is it just a question? So,
right.
So many people freak out. Oh my God. Like, I got loan officers 2 days ago that came to me and I said, no, I'm not giving you a 75 basis point pricing exception. Sell better. 2 days later, pricing did not get better. 2 days later, he texts me back and goes, DK, I got him to pay a quarter, or I need a quarter concession. I said, okay, I can handle that. Good job. So, are they questions and objections, or are they truly locked in? Are they that 25% of the people that are just, they just want the deal? And then I want to go back to, I wrote down 3 things. When you asked me the other day to come on, I wrote down 3 things. one, it's a mindset. So what I just said, what Jeremy said. Number two, I think it's so important to know your worth. So if you know your worth, your customer is going to feel that in your conversations. And so if you know your worth and you know that these are conversations with clients and they're not, if the client is going to shop you and that's that 25% of the people that are they just want the lowest deal, cool. Know that up front, know your worth, know the customer, and give them what they want, and then move on. And then I think the biggest thing.
I want to insert something right there. Both you and Jeremy have done thousands of total cost analysis, and you know what that was worth to the consumer. Mm-hmm. So because you've had that exchange and you've done that work, you feel more valuable. So I want to make sure everybody gets that. Like if you were delivering a fee worksheet and you were not delivering mortgage strategies, you are not going to feel as valuable. You're going to feel like rate, payment, cash to close. You can't even really empathize with where these guys are coming from and where a mortgage coach is coming from unless you've done the work. And I just want to remind folks, yes, it's work to learn to use it, but once you learn to use it, it saves you time. It makes you more valuable. And then from the inside out, it makes you feel more valuable. So I just want to make sure we delineate that because you and Jeremy take that for granted, I think.
Yeah, well, Jeremy said it too. As a young loan officer, he was like, "Oh crap, I'm going to lose this deal," or "Oh, I got to go get the pricing concession," or "I got to lead with a pricing concession," because you weren't confident enough in the value that you bring, your worth. The third bullet point that I wrote down is, I think it's so important right now that your customers hear in those initial conversations, in what they see on your website, what they see in your emails, how quickly you reply. What I say to my clients, and I tell them this up front, I truly believe in the bottom of my heart that I am the best fit for you. You're going to learn more. I'm going to be able to save you more money over time. And I'm going to be your partner for the next 15 to 30 years to help you come out the other side of homeownership in a better financial position. So Jeremy taught me this a long time ago. So did his buddy, Hunter. You just you're assuming the close. I'm assuming the relationship. Like, we're partners, and I'm going to be with you for the next 15 years. And I'm going to make it darn sure that at the end of 15 years, you're going to come out of this and you're going to know what your 401k balance is. You're going to know if a 15-year fixed mortgage or a 30 is best for you. You're going to know what it takes to retire well off, all of that stuff. So we have those conversations up front that I'm your partner. I'm going to help you come out of this. And then if you go somewhere else, if I'm not your mortgage loan officer, I feel like I just ripped someone off because I didn't do a good enough job showing you how valuable this experience in our relationship will be. So I think those are the three things I wanted to talk about. And I think in closing, my business, I've said this throughout COVID. Yes, I loved all the refinances. I loved the paychecks. It was awesome. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity to stack away the kind of money that we were able to stack away. But my business is not built for a refi boom. My business is built for higher interest rates. My business is built for purchases. My business was built for times like this, educating home buyers, helping them understand, are we on the verge of a bubble? What does, like what Jeremy's report says, what does 2.75, 3.25 look like? Oh my God, it's not that big of a deal, right? So stop focusing on rate every single day and focus on what you need to focus on. So I love it. And I think if you can build out your mortgage practice to be a purchase-centric mortgage practice around education, around financial education, around partnering with the customer, not only through the process, but through the process of home ownership, they're going to see that. They're going to be attracted to you, and kick the 30% or the 25% that just want the best rate aside and focus on the 70, the 75 that really want what you have to offer.
So Jane has asked a couple times, Jeremy, for a link to your TCA. If you don't mind either sharing that in our Facebook chat, or I'll get a link from Jeremy and I'll put it in the recording of this in YouTube. So Jane, you'll have it in a couple places in a minute. Deborah, any closing thoughts or any takeaways you want to make sure everyone hears?
Yeah, just from a social media standpoint and, going back on mindset and know your worth. What I would challenge you all to do, and especially Dan and Jeremy and the other rock stars who have been using Mortgage Coach for years. You guys, like you said, Dan, you said learn more, save you more, and put you in a better financial situation. When I go and do a social media audit, I then go and look for evidence of you proving that, not just you teaching principles or sharing clips from, books or, valuable lessons, but I mean going and interviewing a client where you can demonstrate, because again, the history of marketing is it used to be you made it look like you could provide more value so you could charge more. The rate conversation is really null and void when there's value there. I will raise my hand. I will pay more all day long if the value is there. So how can you get better? And I would challenge both of you on this and the other people who are the rock stars who are used to using Mortgage Coach and have these client stories. Get better at telling the stories, because people remember the emotional, story over the data, where you can prove, here's a client we first met, 5 years ago in 2012. This was their situation. Fast forward today, because of our annual asset reviews and because of our client appreciation events that we do every quarter, here's their financial situation today. And again, they don't have to be in the video. If they would be, that would be amazing, because if your clients are your marketing department, by the way. That is the future of where we're headed. But I would challenge both of you, because I have done audits from discovery calls that a lot of my clients will pull up your accounts and they love your accounts. And I just think with your history and the data and the stories that you have, that this is your crusade, I would say now prove it beyond just the lessons and teaching of the principles. I want to see the application of people in a better financial situation after they've done business with you. And when you get good at being able to sell those stories or share those stories, and you have a good 6 or 7 of them, whether that's when you're meeting with an agent and how you've helped them make more money. I know, Dan, you say that all the time. My job is to help you make more money. Prove it. Have some like in your bag of, tricks of those stories that people will remember. And that's how you can go one to many and provide value that's memorable.
I love that. And by the way, last time you challenged me on something, I executed it immediately. Done. I will do it again. I wrote it down.
How many apps did you get?
I got 3 apps from one post, closed
Boom.
1 deal. Like, unbelievable.
So guys, write down your clients are your marketing department.
Yep,
That's
it's
what
true.
Deborah just said. And then she said, if you are delivering value, prove it. Do you have stories and strategies that are scroll stopping, that are simple for people to consume, where you're proving your value? And remember, guys, we're helping people with the biggest financial planning decision they'll ever make. There's the equity in their home. And there is a case to be made that, hey, I had this family, they couldn't qualify. I mentored them for 6 months. They qualified. And now it's 3 years later. You could call out that equity. And guys, that's part of your value. You helped them access home ownership with a mortgage. Call that out. And then through my annual reviews, Mortgage Coach, HomeBot, here we are on house number 2. Tell those stories.
So just real quick on that, even those who end up saying no, they rate shop you, they go somewhere else. Tell them that's okay. I still want to give you a gift, and the gift is HomeBot. Put them in your HomeBot. You could still do annual asset reviews for them. If you're coming from abundance, you really want to help people get into debt smarter or financially make an impact. Give them that gift and stay in touch with them. And the real litmus test is, if I were to pull up your reviews, both Jeremy and Dan, and I go and I look, would your clients say the same values and rave about you that you claim that you provide? And that's where, when you're doing those annual asset reviews, and say it's been 5 years later and you just helped someone get in a better financial situation, ask them to make another review, because we've got to prove your value over time, just like a TCA, that this is what you pay for. That is that's why you would absolutely pay a premium to work with someone like me, and people would pay it all day long, but you got to prove it.
And guys, and if you do everything that's been discussed today, and then you do a good job of marketing yourself, who cares what Zillow Mortgage does? Who cares what Amazon Mortgage does? Who cares? You will kill it for decades to come. If you're using tech, if you're doing leadership, you're creating the kind of content we talked about. So, hey, guys, let's wrap it. Jeremy and Dan, thank you so much, guys. Deborah, it's always good to have Superwoman or Wonder Woman in the room. And have a good Halloween, everybody.
You guys keep rocking and be who you say you are.
Weirdo.
Love it.
Bye, guys.